Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of this series where I recreate Eowyn's iconic white dress from The Lord of the Rings. In this video, I'll be walking you through how I made the basics of this garment. The sleeves, embroidery, and belt will be handled in future separate videos. So without further ado, let's get started. The original dress is made of some cream-colored wool blend or wool twill. Since I wanted to make my dress on a budget and couldn't find the appropriate fabric where I'm from, I opted for something which proved to be quite fitting, and I'm happy with how it all came together. I got about 5 meters of this cream cotton twill, and I ended up not using all of it anyway. It's a non-elastic, sturdy fabric with a decent body weight to it, and with a price tag of €7 per meter, I found it to be a very good fit for this project. I also needed some cream, shiny brocade for the sleeve linings. Here is where I decided to change things up a bit when I came across this linen viscose blend with embroidered flowers. It was the perfect color, and I found it would give the sleeves a nice pop. You'll be seeing more of this fabric in the upcoming video on the sleeves. In fact, you've already seen it in a past video where I made a shirt out of leftover fabric. For now, let's get back to the threads. For the entire project, which is hand-sewn, I used regular cotton thread, but I also needed something for the embroidery and sleeves. I found this gold and silver thread, which turned out quite suited for the job. I started in a very unusual way by making a mini scaled-down mock-up, I suppose. Now, this wasn't meant to be in any kind of proportions, so I just wanted to have a rough idea of what the garment will look like once I cut out these giant pieces. I was going to make the patterns myself, so first I made this weird mock-up to have a very rough visual representation of whether I'm even doing things right or not. But what I really needed to make on a mini scale first were the sleeves, which again will be discussed in a future video. My initial plan of action was this: design the pattern as simple as possible. This meant something along the following lines. Cut out 2 rectangles with a neck hole and armholes, add the gorse, and there you have it. A simple girdle. But then I wanted the dress to have a better fit, so I needed to drape it down, cinch it in at the waist, and I decided to add some length in the back. I pondered whether I wanted to add 2 gores in the back as well, but I decided side gores added enough volume and looked more like the original gown anyway, so I skipped those. After I was happy with it this far, I went on to design the pattern. I got some old sheet for mock-ups and started draping the fabric on my DIY dress form. I took this very rough mock-up off and disassembled it, then traced the pieces on paper to make a proper pattern. I made 2 side/back pieces and 1 front piece, which I made symmetrical by tracing half of the mock-up piece, folding the paper in half, and mirroring it onto the other side. I also made it a bit longer, and I need to fix the back by adding about 2 cm allowance for eyelet holes, but later on in the process this turned out to be redundant and I actually had to take it in a bit. Out of this pattern, I made another, better mock-up to try on. I made that one with a front closure so that I could get it on and off by myself. Trying on the mock-up, I decided that the neckline had to be deepened a bit, but otherwise I was pretty happy with it and with the proportions, so I decided to cut into the real deal. And here is where I did something completely unnecessary and a bit stupid, but nothing terminal. See, I wanted to add some width to the bottom part of the dress, or to the skirt portion, by cutting it like so. Yeah, you don't do that obviously. If anything, it should go down at an angle, which I altered as soon as I picked up on my mistake. Then it was on to the two back pieces. And in the late evening hours, we had something that could be pinned together and hold its shape. Additionally, I decided to cut out 2 layers for the front and back of the gown and make it more opaque, plus to give it some more structure. Most importantly, to give some strength to the back for the eyelet holes, and also to give the sleeves something sturdy to attach to, because I had started on them at this point and I soon realized that lined bell sleeves that reach down to below your knees are pretty heavy. I basted everything together because I didn't want to fuss with pins anymore, plus I was starting to run out of them. The underlayer of the front is slightly higher, or not as deep, around the neckline, I guess you can see it, to allow for the embroidery that will follow. And now we go back to setting in the side gores. I basically cut out 2 triangles, measuring down from my waist to the floor. I pinned them together onto the body of the dress and basted them on. Here I had to fix a little something. Then I tried the dress on, backwards, so that I could determine how much more had to be taken in at the waist. Also, because there will be eyelets in the back, I'm making the reinforced edge, I guess you could call it. You can see what I'm doing, even though it's hard to explain. And I'm marking where the eyelet holes will go. Then sewing the eyelet holes in with this cream thread that will match the laces and the braided band that crosses and ties around each arm. So the back is not quite finished at this point, but what you'll see in the next video will be a strip of fabric attached to the side in the back to prevent the skin of my back from showing once the dress is on. But basically, the first part is done. The main part of the dress is more or less finished. And you get a little sneak peek of the embroidery as well, which will be the topic of the next part of making this dress. Till then,